Hello, everybody. Welcome to the opening monologue for the martial arts of sales. I'm actually sitting in my sofa and I'm redoing my office, actually fixing my office that I just moved into. And I have an exciting topic today that I think is going to blow your mind away. Well, I hope it does. And it's a strange word that's not being used a lot, but if you really think about what we do as salespeople, this word actually applies a lot. I call it hypnotic selling. And what is hypnotic selling? It's really one word: engagement. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story how I came up with this hypnotic selling. When I started as a stockbroker, I was cold calling, and as I got better and better at it, and then I became a broker, and people were sending me, $100,000, $200,000 on one call within the 5 to 7 minute sales pitch. I got the confidence to ask customers, why are you sending me this amount of money and you don't even know me? I was just curious about it. That's when they said, hey, you make me feel good. You know how to tell a good story. You get me to make decisions and get me emotional. And started giving me all these adjectives. And I started saying, hold on a second. Let me dig into what I'm doing, because I was curious. I didn't realize the power that I had. But when you learn the power that you have, it could be used for the wrong reason, because now your mind starts to think the wrong thing. Okay? But I'm going to give you a story, an analogy. For example, just think about this. Well, at least from my perspective, but I want you to hear this. You cold calling. Let's say you're calling somebody from the Better Business Bureau, or social media, or Yahoo, or Bing, or whatever the case, LinkedIn, BBB, whatever the case may be. You're making a cold call. One, you never know what this person is going through, gone through, or what they're feeling at that moment, right? And then you're making your introduction. And it's not always easy, but after a while, you know what to do, then you know how to get through it. But this person, let's say this person is driving on the way to work. They don't expect Paul Cruz to call. They don't expect you to call. But they answer the phone. And you give them your rebuttal, you give them your introduction pitch, and blah, 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 blah. Now you're going in through the sales presentation. And let's say 20 minutes later, 25 minutes later, you get an order from them. Whether it's $100, $1,000, $5,000, the amount is irrelevant at this point. And they buy from you. I want you to think about the power of that. Number one, they don't know who you are. They only hear your voice. They can't verify if you are who you say you are at that moment, right? Even with technology. And then they pay with their credit card. That's what most people do. Think about what just happened there. You went from talking to a stranger, and this stranger not knowing who you are, and they wind up buying from you over the telephone. And what is the most powerful tool they have? The ability to hang up the phone, right? But they didn't. Why is that? Did you tell a good story? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe they just impulse buy. Who knows, right? But I want you to understand that's hypnotic selling, which means you have words that create a picture that the person on the other phone has to see, and it has to create an emotion that they have to feel, because people act on emotions. Now, in my previous video, I talked about why do people buy, and how do they buy. Basically, they buy on emotions. There's 6 emotions that we all buy into, one way or another. There's no escaping that. Now, as a salesman, you have to have certain emotions in yourself to be able to sell. That's the hypnotic selling part. It's basically, how do you engage the people? You have to have these emotions in order, in my opinion, my experience, and I've studied a lot of successful salespeople, they all have these emotions. Some use it strategically different than others, but you gotta have them. You know, top athletes, top entertainers and musicians, they all have it. Matter of fact, if you look at movies and you watch movies, they get you from the trailer to going to the movie theater. And I mention this a lot because selling is part of the movie business. Right? They engage you. They get you to take action. That's hypnotic. Another one I want to use is, if some of you probably have podcast shows you listen to. I have some people that I listen to that I literally listen for an hour and a half, not interrupted. Because all they have is their words. There's no distractions through a video like this. You could be engaged with me right now. I may say something or do something that may turn you away, and you may just change the video, right? And that's possible. It happens. I do it all the time. I get it. But when it is your voice, and that's all there is, and you know how to tell a story and paint pictures with your words and create emotions with those words, you are in essence hypnotizing people on the other end to take action. I want you to think about that. So if you're listening to a podcast, you listen to an audio, whether it's a sales audio or it's a music, or it doesn't matter. The words create the emotion, which get you excited, which create all the other emotions, which you wind up listening to the whole thing, right? And you listen to it multiple times, probably. I do. I'm not above that, but I understand it exists. I understand when I do it, what's going on, what's happening. Does that make sense? So, hypnotic selling, what does it really mean? It means engagement. How to engage people. How to engage the prospect from, the opening of the call and converting them into a customer. That's part of the hypnotic selling process. But you as a salesperson must have these ingredients to create that environment. So 2 things before we dig into the topic. You're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscription button below. Please, if you like it, hit the like button. It does help the algorithm. And do share your comments and share the video with others. Now, for the introduction. Hello everybody, welcome to the Martial Arts of Sales. I hope you're doing well. I'm actually sitting in my sofa here, trying a different background, a different view, and I'm also redoing, I'm fixing my office, so when I start my new podcast and in my new home office. But I got an exciting topic. If you listen to the opening monologue, I know it's a little bit long, but I really wanted to get some meat and potatoes in there so that we can get right into the emotions you need as a salesperson to do hypnotic selling. Now, hypnotic selling is not what people think or what you think it means. That you hypnotize people. That's not what it means. It's engagement, okay? Because when you tell a story, and people are into it, and they're giving you their time. They're really hypnotized into the emotions. They're engaged. They're feeling good. They're seeing things that they never seen before. They're hearing things that they like to hear or they need to hear, or whatever the case may be. That's what hypnotic selling is. And the reason why I call it hypnotic is because me, being on the phone for over 30 years, I never take for granted what I do. Every day I think about it, I called this person I never met. I did some research on them, whether it's their social media or on the Better Business, doesn't matter. I don't know these people. And I call them. And most of them don't know who I am. And that's the challenge. That's what I love about cold calling. The challenge of it. Where you earn that business. So, in the previous video, I talked about, why do people buy and how do they buy? And I mentioned 6 emotions, that trigger them to buy, but there's one word that really triggers all the other emotions. That's wanting to buy, right? Needing is something else, right? When you need to do something, you resist it. You really don't want to do it, so you fight it, right? Sometimes you wind up doing it because you have to, but a lot of times you resist it. So the number one thing is wanting. Now, let's do the reverse. As a salesperson myself, for over 30 years, and knowing a lot of great salespeople over the years and studying salespeople that are successful now, there's about 6 emotions that we need to have within us to get us going to do the hypnotic selling or create the environment for hypnotic selling or for the engagement. Because if you don't have this, there's no way you're going to get the customers to trigger those other 6 emotions. So your emotions are going to dictate their emotions. Believe it or not. That's why in the opening of a phone call, we as salespeople, we set the tone how the relationship is going to go. You know? And that's why it's important that you understand hypnotic selling and these emotions that you need within you and should develop within you and should have in you as a salesperson to create more sales. It's a phenomenal thing, especially when you know you have it and you know how to use it and it's genuine and it's authentic. It's amazing. Before we dig into the topic, you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscription button below. Please share your comments and also give me thumbs up because it does help the algorithm. And if you think this video is helpful to other salespeople or entrepreneurs or small business owners, please share the video to them. Now let's dig into this topic. Okay, I got my cue cards back. So the number one thing you must have is you must be excited. Must be excited. This excitement will transition into number 2 in a minute. But if you're not excited about selling and you don't believe in what you're selling, how are you going to get the other person excited? Especially if they may need the product or services you're offering. Especially if you may have solutions to the problems they may have. Because at the end of the day, whether customer may admit it or not, whether you may admit it or not, we all like to be excited. That's what gets us going. You get excited about watching your favorite football team or your basketball team or your soccer team or your hockey team, right? Or your boxer or your UFC fight. You get excited about it. We all do. Right? Now, it transitions to number 2. Now, number 2 is you have to be emotional about what you do. You have to be excited first, then that transitions to the emotional part of you. Now, what do I mean by emotion? There's different types of emotion. In this case, what I'm referring to is you take pride in what you do. If you do something wrong, it hurts you emotionally. Like, you know what, I should have done this, I should have done this better. That's the kind of emotional I'm talking about. Being emotional and truthful about what you do. You know, really caring about the customer or the prospect. Really wanting to go the extra step, you know, in the sales process to not only convey the message and the picture, but for them to see it, that it's going to benefit them. That's an emotion you got to have. The excitement is one thing, then you got to get emotional about it. The thing about emotions is if you react to it and not take action on it, it could be devastating. So that's what I mean about being emotional. I'm very emotional about what I do. I'm very emotional about things. I don't let it control me. I use it as a tool to help me get the right results and to help me be successful in what I do. Does that make sense? Now, once you understand that emotion and you master that emotion, number 3 is it transitions into having enthusiasm. Now, you got to be enthusiastic about what you do. You ever been around somebody that has this boatload of energy and excitement, and enthusiastic about what they do, and you know, it's contagious, right? Well, enthusiasm is another emotional part. It's a little bit more than it being excited. It's the balance between, being emotional and enthusiastic. Now, enthusiastic is you can't wait to get on the phone. You can't wait to present what you're doing to people. You can't wait to show what you're offering to people. You can't stop talking about what you do, to the point where sometimes people, they go, all right, enough is enough. I've been there, I've done that. That's how enthusiastic I am about what I do. Now, you go through those phases, but you got to be a pro and learn when to, you got to mature on that end. Does that make sense? So you got to be enthusiastic as a salesperson. You don't need to lie. The reason why people lie in sales is because they take some of these emotions they know, but they don't really believe in what they do. So they have to cut the line, or they cross the line, or they have to be deceitful. That's the power of all these emotions. You can wind up doing that. At the end, you wind up hurting people. You wind up stealing. You wind up lying. Maybe people won't know it right away, but down the road, they'll find out. So you got to be enthusiastic about what you do. Number 4 is, once you have the first 3, it develops into passion. Are you passionate about selling? Are you passionate about your profession? Passion is an incredible word. It's basically having a strong enough why you want to do something that you go through the wall. You don't care what's in front of you. You're passionate. You're gonna do it. That the how will follow. It will just follow. You will figure out how to do it. Are you that passionate about selling? I am. I love selling. I love cold calling. Why? Because I know I'm providing value. That's the reason why I do it. Not because I'm closing a deal or I'm getting paid. That's the end result of doing the right thing. So you gotta ask yourself, are you passionate about what you do? Do you worry about closing the deal or the commission, or do you care about the process? Do you care about the value you're offering? That you're solving a problem? That when they hire you, their business is going to grow. They're going to benefit from it. Because don't forget this, you and I are customers too. And we will hate that a salesman will lie to us and deceive us. And we wind up getting nothing, right? Even though we're salespeople. We're not above that, my friends. Does that make sense? Now, passion builds number 5. It's called confidence. When you have confidence, and confidence comes with trials, it comes with error, it comes with keep doing it, cold calling, 300, 400 calls a day like I used to do, getting rejected, not knowing what's going on, and keep on doing it. And then when you start to see results because you're excited, you have enthusiasm, you have emotions, you have you're passionate, all those things, it starts to build confidence. Are you confident in what you do? Think about that. Confidence is the result of the actions you took. Now, whether they were the result you wanted or not, you got to a result. And if it's not the result you wanted, then you figure out the cause, right? So you learn something, then you change it and do something about it. So you really don't lose because you have confidence. I have confidence when I'm building a sales team, I'm building an office. People around me know I have confidence. Because the actions I take, the way I speak, the way I am. You can see that in people. You can know somebody who's confident in what they do or not. How they handle objections or rejection. Does that make sense? And then confidence creates, number 7, conviction. Do you have conviction in what you do, in what you're selling? Because if you're not convinced, forget about it. All the excitement in the world doesn't matter. All the enthusiasm, if you don't have conviction, because you got to have conviction to be excited about what you do. You got to be convinced, this is what I want to do. Why do I want to do this? Well, I know I want to do it, okay? Then you have to, once you're convinced, then the excitement and the emotions and all those things take place. And when you start to see little results, I call them compound effect, you start to gain more confidence, you get more passionate, you get more excited, enthusiastic. All that starts to accelerate. And it goes to different levels. But when you're confident, all those emotions come in place. All of them. Because you know what it's going to take to make a sale. You know what it's going to take to build a business. You know what it's going to take to deal with a certain problem. There may be problems that you never dealt with before that come up, but your confidence in the experiences you have to solve those problems, right? Does that make sense? Because as long as you look at the cause and find the cause, you'll always be able to solve problems. Now, and why must you have all of these ingredients? Why are these ingredients, I call them ingredients or emotions in salespeople, why are these important? Because they sell. Period. They sell. As I had mentioned in my previous video, why do people buy? Because they want something or they need something. Your job as a salesman, a professional salesman, is to have those emotions in you to bring them out in customers or in prospects. That's what you have to do. If you don't have any of those emotions, you're not a salesman or a good salesman. You might be just an order taker. Nothing wrong with being an order taker. I'm just saying specifically if you're out there selling, now whether you're on social media or just cold calling, for me social media is another advantage to cold call. Now you got more elements you can use. You can use emails, texts. You can use direct messaging. You can use, if you're on Instagram, you can use your stories. There's a lot of things you can do, but at the end, you have to make the initial. You have to have all those things. Those people that are following you, communicating with you, contacting you, or liking your content, they have to feel your excitement about what you do. And you have to be excited about them, for them, about their business, how you're going to help them. So being excited is not just about what you do, it's about what you do for them. And it's about them, making them excited about you being excited for them. Does that make sense? So all the emotions you have to put into this is really for the prospect. It's for their benefit. Does that make sense? So I hope this has been helpful. I want to thank you all for being part of the Martial Arts of Sales. Stay tuned for my podcast, The Paul Cruz Show, that's going to be coming live in the next week or two, and some new content that's coming out. Till we speak again, I say goodbye. This is Paul Cruz with the Martial Arts of Sales. Have a great day. Bye for now.